Good evening, YouTube. How are we feeling? My Hero Academia, Macadamiacs. How are we feeling after the premiere of the Project Our Hero Academia dub? How are we feeling after the end of My Hero Academia, the manga? I feel great, but I don't see a very consistent consensus from the discourse on Twitter and across social media right now. You should feel good. Everyone, you should feel good. Guys, I'm not even gonna freaking, hide it. This is an all-timer. This ended great. And if you don't know why, if you still feel a little bad, something in the pit of your stomach doesn't feel good about what happened in My Hero Academia 430, let me tell you how to feel about it. Okay, I'm gonna go through it with you so that you know it feels good. Hi chat, I see you in the corner there. I'll be talking to you this evening. It's just me by myself. It's just me and you tonight. And if the vibe feels right, I might pull a couple of you in the Discord. So if you are in our JoyRide Discord, link in the description below. If you are okay with being online and on microphone, I might talk with you one-on-one just for a little bit. Just like, hey, anything you wanted to talk about or felt your feelings on the end. But before we get started on that, we do got some house cleaning, some house duties to discuss. First and foremost, our project, I always confuse the title. Project Our Hero Academia, aka we told My Hero Academia fans to redraw the manga. The video is now on YouTube. Go check it out. Over 50 fans redrew My Hero Academia, and then we dubbed over it. It is an amazing project. Everyone at JoyRide is so proud of their work. All of you who participated should be proud of this work. It is an incredible expression of fan love and gratitude to Horikoshi and this entire franchise. And it came out great. Very fun. Incredibly cursed, but that's what we like to do here at JoyRide. If you're familiar with the abridged parody, cursed is our business, alright? So please pat yourselves on the back. It was all fun. It was all in good fun. Other business, My Hero Academia Abridged, Dark Deku Abridged, is available now on Patreon. Link is below. Available to $5 and up patrons. It's a 1 hour runtime. It's huge. It's some of our best work. People who've been sending me messages behind the scenes privately, giving me their compliments, saying, don't just compliment me, compliment the voice actors, compliment the editors. It was an incredible project. We really stepped up our game. YouTube is just indelibly cruel to us at all times, and the only way we know how to respond is to step up our game every time. They're cruel. It doesn't matter who sees it. We do this for ourselves. We do this for the love of the game. But it's an incredible project. It's some of our best work. Not only is there a 1 hour special, but there is a 20-minute visual showcase of all the behind the scenes editing. There's a 5-minute video of me recording the booth for Scott and various other characters' lines. The trailer came out early there. Basically, there's never been a better time to be on Patreon right now. And oh boy, we need patrons right now because there's been some issues with Patreon behind the scenes, processing errors, and I don't know if we're getting our money this month. And that would be a disaster because we went over budget on Dark Deku Abridged. So we could be in serious trouble if Patreon doesn't get their crap together. Otherwise, what else is there to say? As I said before, I might be taking calls this evening, so just kind of hang and linger around in the Discord. Specifically, I'll rip people out of the public chat, voice chat, if we get down to that point. It just how the vibes feel right and how I feel about this discussion. Otherwise, this will not be a detailed play-by-play of the panels. If you want a more detailed analysis of what happened in Chapter 430, Val and I recorded a 2-hour-long episode of Joycast that will go up on Monday, the 5th. That'll be the day after it's finally official in English. That's just copyright issues. I can't be talking detail by detail live on stream because that would be impolite to Shueisha. And doing abridged parodies already puts this channel at a lot of risk. So we will not be doing that. This is going to be more about feelings. It's going to be about how we feel tonight and about what is already being publicly discussed online. mostly controversies, things that shouldn't be controversial, but things get lost in translation. Sometimes the translators get overexcited and they even admit themselves that they misphrase things and things get out of hand, as I'll discuss. But before we get started, I'm just gonna lightly peruse your guys' comments, see if there's anything worth pinging other than saying hello to everyone. Spoilers ahead, Stina says. Yeah, obviously spoilers, guys. Obviously spoilers. It's even in the freaking hashtags on the blue text of this description. They're obvious spoilers. Our My Hero Academia series is so funny. Thanks, Just Kale fan. Just Kale fanboy. Not just a fan, a fanboy. Thank you so much. Jingus says, it was bad. Wrong. Wrong. So wrong. It was not bad. The chapter was not bad. Drill says, that dub slapped harder than Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush Season 2 finale. You and the Yu-Gi-Oh! References. I only ever saw the first season and the one where they go to the school that we reference in Spike's Family Bridge. Those are the only ones I'm aware of. I liked it, and I have a theory. Shannara has a theory, everyone. Maybe a game theory. I think a fan book will go into future designs. I hope so. If I have one criticism of this finale, I am not a fan of the final costumes for the Class 1A students. I'm not a fan. I don't know how you go 8 years and their only additions are essentially like headphones. Everyone's wearing headphones for some reason. This is their answer. This is the future. Because we have to be in constant communication with each other. Like, they wouldn't improve technology to be, like, more simple There's no AirPods in the My Hero world, apparently. Maybe that's copyrighted. I don't know, but the solution is add more earphones to everyone's designs. It doesn't make sense, among other things. But that's the only really bad thing I really have to really say about this finale. And, guys, remember, I am famously the Deku hater. Those of you who have been with us since the very beginning, I am famously called a Deku hater. I am famously called too critical of My Hero Academia, the franchise, the entire story. And here I come, seeing this finale and loving it. Granted, and I discussed this on the podcast, I've had more time to digest the finale than the rest of you have. I actually knew how this ended Wednesday night. I got the pre-leaks before the shit went right up on Twitter. Basically at like 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night, I got my inside contacts and they gave me some things, and I went to sleep with the knowledge that there was only one ship confirmed. And I was like, ooh, and I did not sleep well that evening. I was like, how is this good? Because I didn't quite have every panel. I only got the bullet points, and I'm like, and I think that's literally where everyone's feelings come from. I feel like people have let the leak bullet points and the misphrased leaks kind of get ahead of the cart. Like, people are misconstruing things. They're not actually seeing it, because a lot of people, we discussed this before on the podcast, that scanlations, people have a lot of issues finding scanlations, as they should. You should be reading these things officially. But for those of us, it's our job to discuss. We need to know ASAP, because no one's going to slow down and wait for the official. Unfortunately, that's the rat race that we are as content creators. We have to know this ASAP. The rest of you, you really shouldn't be knowing what's going on until Sunday, honestly, unless you're Japanese. Japan already has it. But obviously you all know, this is what you're here to listen about. But yes, so, I'm already like, oh, that's another fun thing too, guys. When you listen to the podcast, you should listen to the podcast, somebody. Wait, tell me the point, go in the Discord and ping me, the point when you realize that my brain completely shuts down. It's been a long week, guys. It's been a busy week, especially this. This whole finale just put me in a rush. I had nothing. I was running on nothing but caffeine this morning, and there's a point in the podcast where my blood sugar just plummets, and I can't process thought anymore, and I literally mid-sentence forget what I'm talking about. It's hilarious. And I'm already having this problem now, even though I did have dinner before the show. But yeah, things got famously misconstrued, and that's so unfortunate, because if you actually have read the actual chapter, and I believe the official translation will clarify even further. I can't see this being a mistranslation. The fan translations are already sufficient enough. There's nothing to misconstrue other than obviously there are people who are telling jokes, and those jokes are funny. The jokes are hilarious. The memeing that people are doing is hilarious. But it's not the truth, and unfortunately there's a loud contingency of the fan base that is really taking it literally, and they're saying that this is shit. The fact that Horikoshi dropped the ball. No, he did not. How can I famously be the most critical bad guy? I was blamed. I know some of our most beloved Patreon supporters famously called me someone who was enabling fan wars and dividing the fan base and saying My Hero was shit, and I was like, evil son of a bitch. How am I going out as the biggest supporter of this series based on this chapter? It's because it's not bad. But here's what I've heard. This is the take that I've heard from more leveled, even heads and personal friends, is that the general consensus is that they feel underwhelmed. They feel not a negative emotion, they just feel underwhelmed by the ending. And to that I say, guys, that's not a bug, that's a feature of Shonen Jump. Specifically battle shonen manga, battle action shonen, power fantasy, whatever you call it. That's a feature. All the fun is in the final fight. The last chapters are just an exhale. And as we discussed on the podcast, the exhale can go so wrong. And My Hero Academia does it so right. So let's discuss this here. I'm not going play by play. I just want to talk about the subtle implications. The thing you need to know at the top is, yes, it's underwhelming. That is intentional. Because again, all the fun is in the fight. We're cooling down. We're packing up our bags while you're watching Horikoshi pack up his bags and wave goodbye and go, all right, My Hero, pretty fun, right? All right. And then he walks by and we throw him a parade. We throw Deku and friends a parade. This is a parade, okay? But it feels underwhelming because this goes back to the principal theming. I tweeted about this morning where I said, oh wow, people are now starting to realize what Shonen Jump has been about since the 1980s. Culturally, Shonen Jump has always been. Shonen literally is it's a literal word and a demographic in Japan. It means young man or young boy. This is a series. This is a magazine that targets young men, young boys, elementary, middle school, high school age. But obviously, people of all genders and all ages love this stuff. It has such a wide appeal, despite the very specific demographic. And these stories are very formulaic because of that. They latch onto one demographic and they've never let go of this. It's always targeted to young men. What do young men like? They like to scrap. They like to ram their heads against a wall until it breaks and work their hardest until things work right. And that in the 1980s, during Shonen Jump's like huge skyrocket fame, it was that mentality that really lit a fire underneath the ass of salarymen in the booming 1980s in Japan. And that economic boom from the 70s to the 80s, salarymen, if you work hard, if you do your best, if you hit every day with enthusiasm, good things will happen to you. And these are stories that are about that. And you're like, yeah, hell yeah, Deku, do your best, Deku. Go to your 9-to-5 job at the end. And this is the part that settles wrong with folks. And it's not because it's bad, it's not because it's wrong. This is what Shonen Jump has always been, because someone goes, there's a famous little, I subtweeted it, where someone goes, oh god, Ichigo from Bleach became a wage cuck. Gohan, became a stay-at-home dad. Naruto became a wage cuck. Now Deku's become a wage cuck. This sucks. And it's like, this is the principal theming once again. You're a young man, you're a young boy, you work hard and do your best, and you grow up and you continue to put that enthusiasm towards your job, towards the economy. I know it sounds effed up. I know you guys don't like the real world getting in here, but this is what it's about, baby. And for you, you get a pit in your stomach. The why you're like, ugh, I don't like Deku working at 9-to-5. That's so weird. Why is my boner gone? It's because, guys, that's growing up. You go on your wild adventures as a kid, but at some point you gotta pay your mortgage, you gotta pay your taxes, you gotta pay off your student loans, you gotta go enter the workforce and reality. Not all of you can sit here in front of a streaming camera and yell at kids about Young Man Magazine, okay? Even this is not that tenable, all right? I do a lot of side work to make this, or I did a lot of side work and saved a lot of money so I could ride off this as long as possible, all right? I did my due diligence. I went through my arc, and that's what I'm going to get to towards the end. This is what I never discussed on the podcast, because I told on the podcast, I said, the podcast is analysis. This stream is going to be personal. And I'm going to talk about the fact that I went through Deku's arc. I had my wild adventures as a high schooler. I fought injustice. I beat the crap. I punched people. And then I had to go become a freaking emergency hospital worker for 10 years. Deku did 8. I did 10. I did my diligence. And then my friends came in the clutch and kind of rose with me and followed me on this journey with JoyRide and made this my freaking full-time job. And in the same way with Deku, it's like, I got to live my dream too. So this is the personal stream. I'm going to make this about myself. Because this specific franchise is the foundation of this channel. It doesn't matter what kind of original shit I want to do. It doesn't matter what other kind of parodies I want to do. We will always be known as the My Hero Academia parody channel. And so this is intrinsically tied to this channel, and this channel is intrinsically tied to my life. So guys, why do I feel so high on this finale? Because I took it fucking personally. I love this. It felt so good. It felt so reaffirming. When you guys see Deku as your stand-in, because you want him to clap every cheek he sees. And for me, I just wanted Deku to freaking live an honest life, be at peace, but also follow his dreams, whatever he decided it was at the end. And he did and that's what's so great about this finale is Horikoshi catered to everyone. He was very mature about it. He never wholly confirmed too much on any front to make sure everyone had as much fun as possible. He literally trusted the subtext in you, the audience's hands. He said, who did you want to be shipped? I'm not going to ship anyone specifically except for La Brava and Gentle. You see in the panel, they have wedding rings. It's the only hard confirmed ship. They won, dude. They got a text card up. They got married. Gentle stays winning, y'all. But that's the only ship that ever got confirmed. There are implications, very interesting implications across the board that we're going to discuss. But he never goes hard confirmation. This upsets people because media literacy is dead. We don't know what subtext is. We don't know how to engage with subtext. Guys, subtext is a gift from the writer to the reader. He says, I will never be able to write an ending better than what you have placed in your head. So I'm going to do my thing here, and I'm going to hand you the possibility. I'm never going to confirm. Because if I confirm something, someone else gets left out. Someone gets dismayed. Here, everybody wins. You write that ending. And he does so good with this with Ochako. My God, guys. Ochako, if there's one... I said Gentle won, and he absolutely did. But if there's one true winner to My Hero Academia, despite my gripes with the development of this character, what she went through, the wars that Horikoshi clearly went with his editors to get that character functional, Ochako ends winning hardcore. In this medium in Shonen Jump, where so many female characters are defined by their relationships at the end. There are little people on Twitter right now crying because you see this arc that Ochako goes through where she's debating if she loves Deku or not. And they're going, what was this even for? It was for development, you guys. Ochako had to learn what many people, men and women, young men and women, and everything in between and beyond, young lovers deal with. Do I really love this person or am I inspired? Do I like them or do I like the idea of them? Do I like the idea of not being alone together with someone? Am I really meant to be with this person? What do I have to contribute in life? Ochako asks so many questions about her purpose, and she learns it from Toga. Guys, if you believe that Ochako was in love with Toga, it's in the implication. It's in the subtext. You can have that. Do you think that Ochako and Deku had a little fling in their last 2 years at UA, and then it kind of didn't work out because that's how many high school relationships don't work? But clearly they're still friends, and that's important. That works too. Did Ochako marry Bakugo? They're sitting right next to each other in the finale, baby. Did she get Ron and Hermione and is settled up with Ida? She's got the neck brace, although that's more of a practical thing because they're on a team and she needs to have equipment to handle that speed force. It's just a practical thing. Don't read too much into it. But if you were shipping Ochako and Ida since the very beginning, that's there too. You get to win. Every Ochako fan is winning, everyone. You should love this. Everyone is winning, and it's not a cop-out. It's subtext. It's very mature. The immature thing to do is to just confirm any, it doesn't matter which ship it was. If he confirmed any or one ship, hardcore, hold hands, wedding rings, whatever, that would have been the immature thing to do. That would have meant that Horikoshi was afraid of some backlash. He's like, which fans am I the most afraid of and I want to hear the less shit about? Not necessarily afraid, but just like, what bullshit do I not want to hear? Who am I tired of the most? And Horikoshi said, I love you all. You all get to have your possibilities. You just need to you just need to engage with the text. And the subtext is what this is. Yari says, I wasn't into shipping. Yeah, and if you're into shipping, if Ochako is a sexless a work boss, she's freaking work-pilled, asphalt queen, that has no time for no man or woman, guess what? You won. You all win. But the best thing about Ochako is, if you've been listening to the podcast, I have a lot of issues about the status quo in My Hero Academia. I had a lot of gripes about Hawks, the second best killer in Hero Society, becoming the boss of the group that essentially groomed him to be a killer. That did not sit right with me. He makes it work at the end. I like his revamped Hero Society system. It's not perfect, but it is something. But if someone actually had a solution for Hero Society, it was freaking Ochako. She starts a youth quirk counseling program that has become an essential aspect of society. Literally, Ochako redefined Hero Society. In a world where there are less villains now, and by that metric, there are now less heroes. The world is moving on. Heroes are not as big as they used to be. There's only so many. The positions are limited, and it's not because of it's not because of a like, oh, get fucked, kid. We're moving the ladder from behind us. It's just there's more options now. You go to that classroom scene with Dai, with the Bakugo Deku middle school foil, where they talk about, oh, there's not that many hero positions anymore. But you see these kids, they aspire to also be in medicine and technology and support items that are now more publicly available. They want to be involved in rebuild efforts, outreach programs. They want to be in programming like La Brava. There are now wider opportunities to do good now. When you go back to the beginning of My Hero Academia, heroes had culture in a stranglehold. If you weren't a hero, you were freaking nothing, dude. So that is such a change and an improvement. And it's a lot thanks to Ochako, guys. She's the one who really made the biggest difference. It says she made sure that the Togas and the Shigaraki specifically did not repeat, and we see this happen in real time. That kid who had his mouth sewn shut, he's there in the background of UA. He's living he's living a normal life as a student at UA. The scars remain, but his future is bright. It's not like Shigaraki or Toga or all these guys who got freaking overtaken by All For One, who got their tragedies taken advantage of by horrific people. Then you got Shoji. Shoji's getting like the freaking Nobel Peace Prize for mutant relations. And he specifically thanks the writers during that revolt. He says, thank you for your passion. I took your energy and your enthusiasm and I channeled it all towards something more peaceful and more positive and something that's making a difference and making a change in the world. He's on the other side of this front. Shoji and Ochako are making the biggest difference, man. And that is so cool to see. And then I see Mr. Host. I briefly see that you're kind of disappointed that you didn't go to good. I agree. The romance is in My Hero Academia, so that's an overarching thing. Again, I'm thrilled by what we've got because I was never, ever convinced of a ship between Ochako and Deku. We're getting to Bakugo soon. I have never been convinced of this shit. Go back to every episode of Joycast. I always say, this never convinced me. It isn't until they have that talk on the cliffside, Ochako and Deku talk on the cliffside at the end of Dark Deku's arc. That is the first legitimate conversation these two have on screen. And it's a great conversation. It's the first time where I'm convinced they at least have a friendship. Because otherwise, it's just sheer proximity. And Ochako behind the scenes going, oh my god, it's a boy. Do I like him? Whereas Deku's like, Deku knows nothing about women. He's just excited to get any attention from the opposite sex because this guy starts the series absolutely depressed. No one loves him except for his mother. Bakugo secretly loves him, but that's a whole other discussion. And so when he gets any attention from a woman, of course he's gonna get all nervous, but did he ever really have those feelings for Ochako? Clearly not. He's not pining for her. He grew up, and Ochako grew up. This is just young, flirty, oh my gosh, but they grow up and learn. Did you settle down with your high school crush? I know some people do. The ones I know end in divorce. I know several that have ended in divorce. Yeah, most high school romance don't work out. And with Ochako and Deku, I honestly, firmly, I'm in the camp that they tried something. I never agreed with was never convinced of it. But based on that panel where they're standing next to the snow and they're wearing scarves, I go, I think they tried. And it's okay that it failed. I'm glad that these guys had such a profound respect for each other. And they tried. Because they definitely they agreed on things. They had shared experiences. When that scene where he goes to console her, it's not romantic. We had a mission. We stood on that cliff face before, and we had a mission together that we were going to save our respective villains. And we fucking failed. We failed. We'll get to that discussion. They failed. They witnessed the guys that they had set. They had their creature. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to ram my head against the wall. I worked so hard. Things will work out my way. I can save this guy. And it failed. One of many mature things about this series. That they fucking failed. And they have to share that guilt. And they're the only two people on this planet that we know of on screen who have the shared experience. I don't think that is a romantic connection. But that is a solid friendship. It is intimate in some way, but not romantically. But that being said, so going back to what Ho said, he wanted the romance because we use Undead Unluck as an example of a great battle shonen romance. I firmly agree. Not everything is Undead Unluck. I consider Undead Unluck new gen. These are the guys who learned from the mistakes of My Hero Academia and are now subverting and are rechanging the formula and doing better. My Hero Academia is more of an influence of Naruto, and we see what happens when you do with female characters in Naruto. They get intrinsically... Their accomplishment is, who do they marry at the end? And that's absolute crap, okay? We don't want to have this aspiration for our female characters in My Hero Academia, because it would have ended horribly, because there is no real romance in My Hero Academia. I'm sorry. The closest thing you get to legitimate romance is La Brava and Gentle, and look, they got married. But any lovey-dovey stuff, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. It wasn't there. It was a manifestation of the fandom. The fandom manifests this. And guess what? That subtext allows the fandom to enjoy that on their personal time. The subtext is there for you to enjoy, but there's no way he's going to hard confirm any romance with those students. It wasn't there. Ochako gets close, but she clearly outgrew it because she had other priorities. Toga absolutely flipped the script on her life. Where she went, oh my gosh, I just watched someone, I mean, they talk about Shigaraki as the epitome of Hero Society's failures. Toga was too. Someone who got suppressed, got taken advantage of, and her last act did a kind thing because of her misconstrued definition of love. Actually did the right thing, and only Ochako and Deku, who she told, knows this story. Because the cameras were turned off. And Ochako has to carry it the rest of her lives. And what did she do with that? She made sure that no villains like that would be made ever again. And Hero Society became regular society because of that. There's not so many heroes anymore. That's a fun little detail you guys would notice. That there's a lot of heroes. So me and Val know specifically Hound Dog, the hero. The one who has a huge PR issue was on an ad for hot noodles. It appears in this world there's not that much time for heroes to do hero work, so they gotta make bank doing ads, and making extra money on the side is a huge theme with heroes. We need to talk about Bakugo. Bakugo literally dedicated his career. We get to Bakugo. This is the guy who could be number 1, but he keeps fluctuating the rankings because he has a bad attitude. And why does he have that bad attitude? Because he is lost without Izuku. He thought it'd be the two of them influence each other, jumping off each other, number 1, number 2, back and forth to the day they died. And Deku's not there. This man Bakugo has no purpose in life. People felt sorry for Deku working a great job at UA with benefits and getting to teach the new generation with his experience, with people who clearly do idolize him, and he seems to be the fun-go-lucky teacher. Deku's doing fine right now before we even get to the end. Bakugo is lost. Bakugo is dedicating every paycheck along with the rest of Class 1A to get Deku the super suit at the end. And that's where it's also gets great, is that ending. I love this ending. It gets to the overall, it's the wrap on the theming of My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia, in retrospect now, we see the prompt. In writing, we have a prompt, we have a premise. What is the story about? What is the theme? Horikoshi's premise posits the question, what if Japan was America? He inserts the mythology of American superhero culture into Japan and says, what if our collectivist society, the one where we have spread out common sense laws, and he has criticism of that too. He's not trying to criticize America. He's just saying, what if Japan was the aspirational aspects of America? The can-do spirit, one guy all might, one super cool Superman can carry the burdens of life, and we all can sit back and relax and enjoy the spoils and the excess of this. And we see that All Might, what does he do? He keeps secrets, because if these secrets come to light, society falls the fuck apart. That's a weak society. And a society that's run on one person is a weak society. This is principally a story about the power fantasy. It's not about the premise, and the power fantasy is not, what if one day a normal guy like me, like the reader, my stand, what if I got superpowers? What if I was special? That's like the premise of like every isekai, and that's why they're sucking, why we're tired of them. My Hero Academia is about, what if there was a world where everybody intrinsically believed in each other and everyone supported each other? What if common sense laws in Japan weren't meant to stifle people? What if we were allowed to express ourselves and be supportive of one another? And you get that theme with Deku. And this is something we talk about in Dark Deku Abridged, is Deku's power fantasy is the belief of other people. It's about friendship, it's about love. It's not about the superpower, it's not about being that one guy that I can take on the burden, and only I can fight, and I'm a badass, and I clap every cheek, and I get every girl I want, and punch guys. It's not the power fantasy. The power fantasy is people believe in you, people support you. Right now, Japan's economy has tanked. It literally, basically, to buy a Big Mac with the yen in America is equivalent to like $40 US right now, okay? Japan is in a bad place right now. COVID kicked their ass. And it's a collective society. And this is a hopeful story saying, hey, we are communal. As long as we continue to be kind to each other, we can lift and we have to lift each other out of this, okay? And we get this ending. We get this ending with Deku, where he gets to live his fantasy, all right? And then he loses it. But he didn't lose it. And mind you, Deku never lost anything. Deku gave it away. All for one, and the life of a hero was his treasure. And he gave that away with the hope of trying to save someone. And he failed. But it's so important that he tried. He did the right thing because it was the right thing. We'll discuss that with Endeavor later, because something pissed people off about Endeavor, obviously. Everyone pissed about Endeavor.
I don't think the series is ending with All Might crashing the downwards. Feels like he's saying it we ain't done My Hero Lemonade.
Thank you, Mr. Bushido. I agree. All Might says it's not over. I agree. My Hero Shippuden. We have August 5th. I think it's just going to be a video game announcement, but Well, even after this chapter, I 100% see a future where, not necessarily Horikoshi, because it's been proven that other people can write spinoffs for My Hero. I do see a new spinoff of My Hero coming, just to bank on the franchise and keep the movie deal going, because we still got 6 movies to make, baby. But yes, let's get back on task. We gotta help each other out. And what does Class 1A do? They spent 8 years donating their paychecks so that they could afford the world's most sophisticated suit that can make a quirkless guy like Deku at least a functional hero. He can at least be at the top and jump through and have his dream. That is the power fantasy, guys. It's not about being the hero. It's about having people in your life who are going to support your dream. It is incredible that we got there. And we needed Deku to give up the dream, to take a little break for a while, and again, do the typical shonen trope of live my life. But unlike other shonens of the past, where you get Naruto and Ichigo, and they become wage cucks, where they sit there and they enjoy life, and they're allowed to enjoy life. They've grown up. They're adults now. They deserve that too. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that Horikoshi puts that ending and says, here's Deku's life. If you want to stop reading right here, right at the first end, and say he became a teacher and he grew up and lived a normal, humble, well-deserved life, he could. But then Horikoshi and All Might rips that end and says, that's not the theme, though. This is about collectivist society. This is about the best aspects of a collectivist society. This is not about one man running it all. This is about a story about how we all were the greatest heroes, how we all continued to reach out to each other despite our differences. This is a story about many people working together to support each other's dreams. And to say that you get that thematic wrap up, and you say that Horikoshi dropped the ball, you say this is a bad ending, this motherfucker just fucking popped up a firework and said, thesis statement, I'm different from every Shonen Jump that came before. I'm different. Ivan Leroy, you said I was like anyone else. My biggest hater, Ivan Leroy. You said, Mr. Entertainment, you said that My Hero was basic popcorn fodder. You said it was just doing this, it was just another shade of Naruto. I proved you fucking wrong, and he did. He proved me wrong, guys. This shit is fucking awesome. This shit fucking rocks. That is a great wrap-up. I wish more shonens had themes. We were talking mad shit about JJK the other day on the podcast. And oh boy, Mr. Host just pushed a chapter on me today. Another summary of theme. I know the average power scaler thinks that shit is boring, and they think it's lame because it's not about talking about ships. It's not about punching bad guys. But the fact that Yuji literally gets to sit down and have a discussion with the antagonist about the value of life. Because that's what JJK is about. That's its revelation on the Shonen Trump is. It's about the value of people fucking punching each other and saying, hey, I could punch you, but we're gonna talk. Naruto tries talk no jutsu, but then they kind of move on. Yuji says, we'll stroll down memory lane and let's have a discussion, and not about, Naruto says, you could be loved, and it's an attempt, I'm not sure what the manga names is, but it's a valiant effort. It's a valiant effort. But these guys come after Naruto, and Naruto was the foundation that these guys grew on top of. And that's why My Hero is so much greater. My Hero Academia is supposed to be greater than Naruto. It came after. We should be growing. We should be progressing. Jujutsu Kaisen should be better than My Hero Academia. Although My Hero Academia just wrapped up its themes and is amazing. Amazing wrap up of themes. And what did JJK do today? It's wrapping its themes too. And it's going, this is about the value of life. Life is a beautiful thing. I don't care if you're this being of destruction. It is my obligation, my honor, my privilege, my love and desire, my enthusiasm to sit with you today and talk about how wonderful life is. If you disagree with me, we'll go have our shonen battle. But we gotta sit down and have this talk. And it's such a great thing about shonen. This evolves from Goku, who would sit there on the English dubs and be Superman pill and go, I'm the hope of the universe. I am the outcry of beings crying out for peace, Frieza. I need to have this 5-minute discussion with you, even though it's been 5 minutes and the planet's gonna blow up. This is a constantly evolving thing. And it's so cool that shonen is at a point now where we get to really have these wonderful wrap-ups on theme. And I just cannot sit idly by and watch you guys, not you guys, I'm all reading your comics. You guys are having a great time. But let's look at the discourse on Twitter, and people are bitching and moaning about romances that were never there, freaking out about mistranslations and misparaphrasings. They said that people abandoned Deku because he'd have a quirk for 8 years. They didn't say that. They said that they just couldn't get the time because they have busy schedules. They clearly, there are attempts to hang out, and clearly they have had communications. All he says is, it's difficult now. Because life is difficult. How many of you are in college right now? How many are you adults? How many of you continue to talk to your high school friends? This is such a mature and realistic outlook from Horikoshi. It's not like Naruto and all them, where we all breed and form breeding pairs, and we all continue to live in the same neighborhood the rest of our lives. And some of you do, and that's okay. But that's not everybody, and that's especially not the cast of My Hero Academia, specifically Class 1A. They have very busy lives, and we see why they're so busy. They are pulling all days and all-nighters like Shoto. They're doing marketing campaigns, trying to get money for their good friend Deku. He's sitting there at UA, totally happy with his life, by the way, but clearly feeling a bit lonely. And they say, we gotta get our boy out of there. Guys, the 8-year plan. Start getting the GoFundMe. These guys never stopped thinking about Deku. And you're sitting there on Twitter bitching that they abandoned him, that Ochako stopped being in love with Deku when he was quirkless. She was never in love with him. She thought she was. She was confused, like all young kids are. And then she got over it, and clearly they developed a profound respect and friendship, which is so much more important. And then she spent the rest of her 8 years while being a fucking girl boss and dedicating her paycheck along with Bakugo and the gang to make sure their boy got to join them in the sunlight in the end and go freaking stop a traffic jam on War Star Highway. To do freaking menial hero labor. Because that was Deku's dream at the end of the day. I just wanted to wear a cape and jump around and be aspired to. And that's legit. That was his true dream, and he got it. His friends communally got together and made sure he got that at the end. Didn't matter about the power. He doesn't need to punch a building in half. It was never about power for Deku. It was just about the privilege of being able to participate in this aspirational system. That was flawed, but to participate in the best aspects of it. The aspects that, as this series ends, they maintained as much of the best parts as they could and changed what was flawed. They did their best. They didn't fix everything, but based on how this epilogue started, and I was getting nervous the way this ended, they fixed more than I thought they were going to. They fixed a lot more than I thought. I thought he was going to status quo it, man. I thought he was going to say, hey, villains are bad. Don't be a villain, and have a nice day. And here's your Izuoka, have a nice day. That's what I thought we were getting. But instead, who gave the most money, in your opinion? Oh, of the students? So there's a super chat coming out right now. You know for a fact, Bakugo, there's a funny meme of this where you see the GoFundMe and you see like most of the students handing off like 50, 60 bucks. Ochako throws 100, and then you see Katsuki drop off like over $6,000. You know Bakugo is eating cardboard and making sure that his best friend is getting that suit. And now we need to discuss about Bakugo. Again, I am not convinced of any romance in this series. None of them. Not even Ochako and Bakugo, which was my preference. That's not even there. The implications are there, but he puts a hearts up and goes, it's whatever you want, baby. But oh my god, if any two characters in this series, from start to finish, had anything resembling a romance, an emotional romance, it was Bakugo and Deku. Look where that series starts. That series literally begins on Kachan stop. And that series ends on Deku, let's go. You watch these guys develop. We talk about is Deku and Ochako developing respect for each other. Bakugo and Deku, a brotherly love for each other develops here. Where in some of those last epilogue chapters, Bakugo is in tears. He's crying in front of his parents, in front of All Might, going, "Oh my god, I thought it was going to be you and me fighting to the end of our days, fighting for the number 1-2 position. I'm fucked up, bro." And you see that he is lost without Deku. He can't maintain his position because he's not about maintaining that position. His inspiration is Deku, and he dedicates his paychecks. He spear fronts that GoFundMe for Deku. It's the most legitimate thing you get to a romance in the series. It's wonderful. And again, it's that evolution of the shonen rivalry. It's the closest thing we see in a shonen rivalry that comes to love. It doesn't have to be sexual, it doesn't have to be lovely or romantic love, but it is love. It is brotherly love. It is affectionate. Inspirational love. This is the super chat that came up. I was talking about who gave the most money. But do you think it's gay? Do you think it's... Guess what? That subtext is there. It's there. That's for you. That's a gift for you. You get to... If that's what you want, you get to have it. Because there's lots of material that supports it throughout the series. That's why this ending rocks. Hinata and Naruto got married, but in this series... It's whoever you want that got married. It's whoever you want that had a friendship. Whoever you wanted to be roommates. Whoever you wanted to just be friends. It's whatever you want, baby. Okay? That wasn't the principal theme of My Hero. He gave that to you. Hori said, I have my themes to deal with. If the shipping was your concern, I gave it to you. And what does the discourse on Twitter do? They bitch and moan that it wasn't there. Guys, and I say bitching and moaning, I feel bad for that. Readers, do you know how powerful you are? Do you know how incredible your imagination is? Horikoshi just admitted that your thoughts and your imagination and what you desired my hero to be was better than anything that he could write. Corey just said, you're better than me. Write the ending. That is your power. That is your privilege. That you get to decide what ship happened. Don't bitch and moan that it wasn't confirmed on screen. This is the best possible scenario for you. This is fucking awesome. This series fucking rocks. Hori is so fucking based. Holy shit. Holy shit, you guys. Alright, I see Dr. Fuss. Don't tell me if it's gay or not. Tell me if it's JoJo's or not. It's definitely not JoJo's. It's definitely not JoJo's, but, you know, that's a even though that's shonen, it's, that definitely appeals to an older audience. It's a little more mature type of gay, we'll say. So yeah, JoJo's is a very mature type of gay. It's very Greek. It's very Eros or agape. What is it? Someone in the chat who knows Greek, who knows their Greek, it isn't low on blood sugar like me right now. Yeah, Dylan B says that flip on the relationship, that it's Deku constantly thinking about Kachan, but at the end it's Kachan always thinking about Izuku. There's a flip. These two have like reverse arcs. It's really cool. Although I wouldn't say that Deku's is a negative. Deku did not have a negative arc. He just had they had like a helix arc is what they had, where they all kind of built around each other. It's very cool. Again, it's an evolution of Goku and Vegeta. Imagine Goku and Vegeta if it was more emotional. If the relationship was more versus Kakarot, I can't stand you, and it's like a freaking Simon and Garfunkel routine in Super. It's fun. I like Goku and Vegeta. I like their relationship. But if I need more meat and potatoes as this medium has evolved, I get to look at Bakugo and Deku now and go, wow, that's very emotional. That's very brotherly. That's practically romantic. It's anything you want to be. It's so deep and interpretable. It could be anything you want. And that's a skill. And that's a skill from Horikoshi. The fact that he can leave it so open to interpretation like that, and it's not for a lack of anything. He intentionally, and you could tell he was fighting the editors, because you can tell the editors wanted Ochako and Deku's relationship to be romantic, to fit that trope, to build on that vertical influence that Shonen Jump has, where you had to follow that formula to meet the bottom line to get the volume sales. And Hori went, I'm gonna meet you in the middle. I'm gonna let her grapple with the idea of romance, but then set on the fact that, no, I at least respect him. So the fact that Horikoshi had to navigate all that pressure from his editors, skill. Remember, guys, My Hero Academia. And there's a little wives' tale among Shonen Jump enthusiasts like me. We call it the 3-strike rule, where you'll notice that a lot of mangaka and Shonen Jump get 3 strikes. If a series fails, they get their debut. If it fails, now they get 2 attempts left, and they fail again, they get 1 left. My Hero Academia was Horikoshi's 3rd strike. He had 2 bombs, and he was always very mature about it too. You listen to reviews. I forgot. I think it was. It's not Berserk. That's freaking Mira. Gosh, I wish, again, I've had such a long day, guys. My brain is fried. But he did a medieval fantasy right before My Hero Academia. And I think it was like Bang Rush or something. And he was I think that lasted like 18 chapters, maybe 20 something, and it got canceled. But he never like blew his lid like Red Hood did. Where he had an assistant that did that Red Riding Hood, that Grim Tales one that was really fun until it got axed and he clearly like exploded all of his ideas into like the last 2 chapters and it was a fucking mess. Horikoshi was very reserved, very refined. He went, I'm not going to blow my load. I'm just going to respectfully bow out and I'll do better next time. And next time was My Hero Academia. And the fact that man went from 2 failures and some one-shots behind the scenes that weren't that successful. And the editors at Jump believed in him. And he took that belief and he navigated all that editor pressure. And he created this series that you see before. This 10-year-long running series. And it got to end on his own terms. It ended better than it started. That's something that we talk about in the... It's something that we talk about in the podcast. The fact that My Hero Academia as a whole has its ups and downs. Post All Might versus All for One, the first fight. That series goes through a dive for a while. Guys... You're not ready to hear this, but you need to be. If you're saying the final chapter was bad, you gotta hear this. Overhaul arc sucks. Overhaul's arc is one of the worst in the series. It's not the worst. It's one of the worst. Go back and reread it, and pretend you're reading it week to week, especially. Do it as I have. It's actually not that good. Among other issues, other plot errors, guys. Where's Makia? Where's Deku's dad? He's missing some things, okay? This is not perfect, okay? My Hero is not a perfect thing. There's problems, okay? But this series finished way better than it started. At the very least, you cannot disagree that the art, which was very charming when it started, became legendary. That art, he's a legendary artist, no matter what you say. We can debate this ending. We can debate the shipping. We can debate the merits of the theming. You cannot disagree that even when he's sketching things out, because he's had issues there. Remember the Hero 2, the school festival arc, where it became a sketch page, even though that was the sketch week that all the artists do, and people got pissed at him because his was exceptionally bad. Shit happens. Hell, that happened towards the final rush. Towards some of the last chapters of the series got really sketchy and kind of Oda-y at the end, a la One Piece. If you actively read One Piece, you know that Oda has had some eye issues and things get a little rough and hard to discern. Hori had these issues too. Hori was writing chapters in the hospital, okay? Things got rough. That art is still legendary. It is the top percentile of all manga in general. That man stands shoulder to shoulder with Kento Murara from Mira from Berserk. It's incredible. It's inspirational. If anyone's ever seen my art that sometimes sneaks into the Discord server, it's inspired by Horikoshi. Horikoshi is the reason I started drawing again and got back into art and developed this plan and this YouTube channel and this parody that got me with the friends that I have today and the colleagues, and I get to live my dream. I have to thank My Hero Academia. It changed my... A lot of people are saying, this series changed my life, bro. I fucking believe it. From one to another, I fucking believe it. This series changed your life. I can't say that's cringe. I can't say that's bullshit. Changed my fucking life. I am here right now speaking to 51 people. I know that's paltry compared to freaking Dr. Disrespect and everyone's favorite content creators. We can't say the P word on YouTube anymore. We can say influencers. That's the term. They're influencers. They influence children of a certain age. All your favorite influencers have more views. It doesn't matter. It is my privilege to sit here on a Friday night in the comfort of my home in the home that I own with my beautiful partner that I met through this project, through My Hero Academia, and I get to sit in front of 51 people and discuss this series that I love. Living the fucking dream, motherfucker, and it's thanks to My Hero Academia. It's the fucking dream. Is it a weird dream? Is it a stupid dream? Fuck yeah, it is. It's my fucking dream, motherfucker. Deku's dream was to wear a fucking cape and go save lives with his friends. And he had to do his due diligence. He got to go be a teacher for a while. I got to go be an EMT for a while and scrape a bunch of dead bodies and carry your dead grandparents into a repurposed Coca-Cola truck because Trump told them to inject themselves with bleach. All right? I paid my dues. That's what paid for this house, by the way. Don't be telling me YouTube money did this. This was hospital money. The house was. But your support, the support of my colleagues, my friends, who continue to make this art with me, this parody. It is art. It's very highly discourse art, conversational art pieces, and we get to make that together. That's what maintains this life. That's what feeds and funds my soul and keeps me alive and makes me wake up in the morning and continue to do what I do. It's the support of people, and that's why this ending and this theming just got to me so fucking hard, you guys. So did I get fooled? Am I freaking cringe? And I only like this ending because I'm cringe. Yeah, and I'm also free, motherfucker. I'm free from the 9 to 5 because I followed the cringe. I chased my cringe. I see another donation. Oh, by the way, guys, thank you for these donations, by the way. Thank you so much. The secret project for August 5th is a chapter where we see Izuku's dad and Horikoshi's One Piece OC Oda drew for him to celebrate the ending. If it's a bonus chapter, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. There was supposed to be I could have sworn there was supposed to be a spin-off one-shot anyways. I never saw that pop up anywhere. I guess gotta check the Manga Plus app and see if that showed up somewhere. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. But it's funny how Oda did a remaster of Horikoshi's fan art of Smoker. Smoker's so cool, by the way. You guys should read. To those of you who have dropped off of My Hero Academia, you need to be reading One Piece, by the way. Among other things.
The Secret Project for August 5th is a chapter where we see Izuku's dad on Horikoshi's One Piece. So dad drew for him to celebrate the ending.
Thank you, Colette, as I just said. Yeah, it's, let's see here. I lost track of my thought, but thank you for the donation and support there, guys. The redraw collaboration got you back into drawing. Good. That's one thing I want to mention. Like I said, like it got me back. My Hero Academia is the manga that made me. It really caught my eye. Just something about Horikoshi's style just spoke to me. He made an art style. He developed an art style through his run that just appealed to me so much, man. I couldn't take my eyes off it. Even when I said that series took dips, I just could not take my eyes off it. It was beautiful and inspired my art style and got me back into art and doing what I do here. It wasn't the anime that got me to change my life. That was anime specifically. It was Hajime no Ippo. Please watch that if you ever want to see a classic shonen, sports shonen. It's about a boxer. And that's the series that got me to change my life. Got me to get my nose clean and make better life decisions and just be a better person. Immovable Favors says, now we just got the Vigilantes anime to look forward to. Crossing my fingers, man. And the optimist in me says that August 5th announcement is at least the announcement of a movie for that. Or a special, an OVA, something. I think that realistically, optimistically, it's a spin-off by another mangaka. We did see at the end, it says, look forward to Horikoshi's next project. I have no doubts in my mind, whatever it is, regardless if it's My Hero related or not, that dude has pitched another series, for sure. That man's not going to stop. He's going to take a nice break, but he's going to come back for sure. They're not going to let go of him. They can't let go of Fujimoto for better and worse. What I was going to say is, Squabblehead says Ippo is great, based. Guys, huge shout out real quick. Follow Squabbleheads. If you want to, I talk about abridged groups that I like. You know I never shut up about Morning Ramen. You guys should also be watching Squabbleheads. They do a Dungeon Meshi, abridged parody, and it is freaking hilarious. I laugh my ass off. These guys are so funny. I've been hanging out with them behind the scenes lately, just chilling with these guys. They're such great guys. They're so funny and talented. If you love improv comedy, these are your guys, okay? They're turning bridge parodies into improv skits. It's improv prompts and skits. It's great. It's great. But I miss Ippo too. Ippo's still right, guys. Hajime no Ippo's still running. talk about evolving. Talk about evolving on old tropes. Ippo, it was started in the 1980s. It's still running. It's still running on the old tropes. Ippo as a series feels like a relic, man. Oh my gosh, it's been spinning its wheels for more than 10 years. For the past 10 years, it's been spinning its wheels, but I love it. Hajime no Ippo's my guilty pleasure. Someone said the new horror manga is just a POV of All for One's victims. Is that a joke, or is that the spin-off that was supposed to come out? Weird. That would be interesting, though. I'm sorry, I'm looking at your comments now. Actually, you know what? Because for the lack of having anything else to talk about after I had my big, cringy streamer influencer speech, would you guys like to humor some fan calls? And the Joy Boys, you're included. Go ahead and... The Joy Boys be in the cast and crew chat if you want. Everyone else, public voice chat if you would like to kind of say a quick piece on things. Just know that if you do come on, you do consent to being live on stream. And I please ask you to stay on topic. Please be polite and well-behaved, because if I sense anything wrong, I'm going to cut you out, okay? But if you just want to talk about, say your piece about the ending, about what it meant to you, how did you like it? Did my discussion here, my impassioned, cringy speech, that change your mind? Did it embolden it? What are your thoughts, guys? What are your thoughts? I'm going to do this right now. Taking your calls. Pop up on our Discord chat, okay? I'm taking your calls right now. And I'm gonna take a peek right now. I'm gonna actually just, again, I'm gonna do a test run. I'm gonna start with sprite stuff. Our good dear sprite stuff. The voice of Abridged Endeavor, Levity, among others. He's what we call an anchor actor. He does it all, man. Huge, massive range. If you have a favorite character in My Hero Academia Bridge, he probably plays it, because he plays a lot of roles, a lot of main roles. I'm gonna go to the war room, and then I'm gonna bring my dear friend Sprite Stuff in. Sam, are you with us right now, buddy?
Hey, sorry. What's up, homie?
Nothing. So I'm taking fan calls right now, but I want to do a test run with the Joy Boy. So you're first.
Oh, okay.
Did you see the ending of My Hero Academia?
I'm not a fan though. Is that going to be a problem?
Huge problem. If you're not sucking my dick, what's the point?
Ah, bugger.
All
right.
Did you read the ending of My Hero Academia? It doesn't matter if you did or not, because your life is intricately tied to it too, because you're part of JoyRide. You voice act for this period.
I did actually read it literally while waiting in the just looking over the other fans.
Okay, thoughts, feelings?
They're all very polite and well behaved. Look, I didn't follow the series all the way through.
Didn't have to.
I thought a lot of moments were very cute, very adorable. But the part of my nerd brain that makes me go, wow, yeah, is time skip costumes. So that last page at the end, right after where, I don't know how much spoilers are allowed, but Deku gets the suitcase and there's a new suit inside
you can
it.
say anything. This is a
spoiler.
spoiler.
And it just looks like his old one?
What's that?
That bummed me out.
Oh, you're like me. You don't like these costumes, do you?
No, I want his new suit should have at least gotten its own panel where you can kind of see it and nerd over it.
So you want more? I guarantee, Sam, that'll be in the volumes that come out in December.
So a little side chapter thing.
You just wanted a better look at it, is what you wanted. I think that based on what you do see, what do you think of Deku's suit? I actually like Deku's suit. I think his was a proper evolution on his. I'm a little disappointed in everyone else's though.
For me, I couldn't tell the difference between it and its old one. It just looked like it had bigger metal arms.
Yeah, it's dark. It's more darker. It's like he went for a whole dark green and black situation, and yeah, it's more streamlined armor. He has a longer cape. But it does feel evolved since the beginning. Go back to his very first costume. He's got the bunny ears and the doofy mask. That's a costume that's heavily involved. Look at everyone else's. Bakugo's grenades. That's another. This one I noticed. He went from frag grenades to stun grenades, which I think is kind of It's like he kind of went PG on us. Part of it's kind of funny, but considering that it was demonstrated that he did not care about public opinion, it's kind of a dumb move. I don't like it.
I mean, look, if Haruko was a real 100% brain genius, he would have, because like I know his thing is that he sweats nitroglycerin, right?
Yes.
So instead of making bombs out of that, he should have just been like a man made of bear mace. Because if you spray nitro in someone's eyes, they're going down.
Sam, that might be the implication, too, of those new gauntlets. It might just be spray cans. It's not, but it'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It does look like a can of mace. He's just, psst, I don't know, you get rid of let go of my purse.
Just don't have a cigarette now because you're extremely flammable, villain.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to move on, Sam. Thank you for your thoughts, because I forgot about the costumes, and you're right. Unfortunately, I do wish we had a better look at all these new costumes, so I hope that the final volume, we get a look at everyone's new costume, because what I see right now, not convinced. Everyone's got headsets now, and that's about it. Like, in 8 years, you didn't evolve any further than what you decided when you were in high school? I mean, good cringe, I guess, but I'm a little disappointed.
I mean...
Feels rushed. I'm sure it was rushed.
Before you send me off, though,
yeah,
I did want to just thank everyone involved in the redraw and everyone who watched the live stream. Because you guys were very nice, and you guys were real cool people.
Everyone was so kind and supportive of each other in that project and just bossing each other up. You're right, Sam. These guys were awesome.
Yeah.
It was an awesome project. I hope the video does well, and I would like to, because it would be nice to have the incentive to do more in the future. I really would.
Yeah.
But
there's one person there, by the way, who keeps, I'm not going to name them, no naming and shaming, but they keep telling everyone how much they don't like their page. Stop that. Be proud of yourself. You did good. You made something.
Oh, I know who it is. I messaged them on Twitter. And I said, bro, I literally had a Sakuna moment. I said, stand proud, young man. That's the point of art. Yeah. You're supposed to put yourself out there, get feedback, and get better. Okay? You did the most brave thing and awesome thing ever. You got to be part of something huge because you were brave enough, despite how insecure you may have felt. Be fucking proud, man. And the guy who's saying it too, that page was fucking awesome. I know what you're talking about, Sam. I know that exact page. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's alright to be critical, but please don't be down on yourself. It was cool.
Yeah, there is an audience for everyone. Look how many people like Donnie Darko. That is not a good movie. It has some of the biggest fans in the world.
Sam, I'd kiss you in the mouth right now. I hate Donnie Darko. I fucking hate Donnie Darko.
It's the worst fucking movie.
It's fucking horrible, but this is not the Donnie Darko hour. We gotta go. Sam, thank you so much. Love you, bro.
All right.
Catch you soon.
Much love, Ivan. See you, dude. Bye.
Okay, I'm gonna start going sequentially here. I saw Drill was in the chat. Drill, I really hope you pop back in the public chat, bro. I've always wanted to talk to you. But I'm gonna throw in, what's up, Juju? Juju the Foo. Unabashed JJK fan.
Hello, Ivan.
Yo, what's up, man?
Not much, man. I'm on vacation.
Oh, perfect time to go on vacation. How'd you feel about the end of My Hero Academia?
I thought this story was wrapped up pretty well. As you were stating earlier, that it never was about Deku's reach for power. It was more of the opportunity to be able to help people in need, and
just to be part of something greater. Just to be a part of something greater than yourself.
Exactly.
The power was just the means, and we saw at the end that it didn't even matter. Like, he didn't have superpowers at the end. He had a suit. He just had a suit of armor at the end that we all knew he was gonna have. Like, we can't be surprised that this happened. We all know he's going full Batman. We're just surprised that it was All Might who did it first.
Right. See, like the whole story. I can appreciate All Might because, like I said, he ushered in a whole generation of new heroes that are just inspired to just do the right thing. And Deku was just the normal guy that wanted to be able to help, even when not being able to, with no sort of abilities of his own.
And that's something
it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to be a hero.
It doesn't take much. All it takes is that instinct to just jump in, even if you don't belong there. We just said that about that artist. We just said the fact that you couldn't help yourself. You just had to jump in and be a part of something. That's all you need. You just need that fucking spark. That's all that Deku ever required, and that got him the means to be where he is today. It was that, and it was that's the only part that Deku had to bring to the party. Everyone else brought the funding, they brought their belief, and put that on Deku. Said, "You've got that spark, kid, to do the right thing. We got your back. You're gonna keep working hard. We got you, fam." And that was so cool.
And even without One for All, he's still a hero now because even his friends are like, "No, we're not gonna leave you in the dark. We've always been thinking about you."
Yeah,
So,
and the fact that people were saying that they forgot him after 8 years, even the translation doesn't say that. They clearly still talked. It was just they were just busy like adults all are. They're joy boys that I hardly ever get the time to talk with because I'm so busy. I'm living the dream and my ass is busy. Dog. I don't know. I hope these are kids that are saying they're not grown adults because, like, what are you doing, man? If you've not experienced this yourself, you should know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
Any other final thoughts before I let you go?
Like I said, I do hear that a lot of people have been arguing about the ships. And it's like that's never what it was about.
It was for them. It was for them. And like I said, he gave them the subtext to play. If that's what you wanted, he gave you the subtext. But you're fooling yourself if you think that was Horikoshi's objective. This man had lots of things to say about collectivist societies, about common sense laws, about suppressive culture. He had a lot to fucking say. And that's one thing. Another thing that people were mad about was the treatment of the League of Villains. They had to go. They were abject failures of the society. Unfortunately, they had to go. They are victims. They are victims. It sucks. But don't say that their influence was erased. Because you got guys like the Sew Mouth Shut Kid. You've got Spinner's book out there. You've got Improved Mutant Relationships. These were the echoes of the villains' actions. That their tragedies would not be repeated. The League of Villains had a huge presence in this ending. It just requires a little extra detail, media literacy, and subtext. And you got it. You've got a wealth of villains in this finale. More than I thought was going to happen. Again, it's things that really shocked me. That was there.
Oh, yeah. So, in my opinion, I can give this a solid 8 out of 10, man. It was a solid ending.
That's what CF thought. CF thought was an 8 out of 10 too, and I think that's completely fair to call it. 8's good, guys. 8's good. Don't use the American grading system. 8's fantastic.
Right. It's something that I'm not really accustomed to most of the stories I've gotten. It's refreshing, so I can totally agree with this.
Last thing before you go, just briefly, how you feeling about this week's JJK?
I'm with host on this one. I honestly believe that this was like one of the most detailed chapters ever, and oh my god.
It just anything that I was hearing about the series at this point for the past like couple months just got fucking shut down by this chapter. And anything that I was talking shit about on Joycast, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I mean about how good it feels to be proven wrong. I love this. Fucking, I was just told to shut up and listen to the fucking story. And freaking Yuji's like, shut up, listen. We gotta talk. Stop the fight. Stop fighting. We gotta talk. It's awesome. It's if you're a power scaler, it's fucking boring, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not about power scaling. Maybe JJK is not about power scaling. Maybe it's about the value of life. Who knows? Maybe stories have deeper meanings. You know, maybe Shonen Jump's got some shit to chew on these days.
It is a constant fight with my friends. Always when I'm trying to push this narrative, it's more than just the fights, guys.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Power scalers.
So much more than
I would envy your enthusiasm. I would envy the joy if I actually saw you guys enjoying it. It doesn't look like you guys enjoy this. It looks like there's constant fighting, constant mayhem. The fact that My Hero Academia's ending was ruined for you because Deku didn't have powers at the end, and you think that his friends ignored him because he didn't have powers. I pity that weak. It's not a weakness. It's clearly you have a circumstance in life where you see value in power and you feel hopeless and valueless without power. I feel bad for people who think that way. I wish nothing for the best. I hope life improves. And I hope power scalers find more depth in their stories and more depth in life because they deserve. Everyone deserves more depth and a better power fantasy than just power.
Exactly.
Okay, I gotta let you go, dude. Thanks. I'll see you at anime night.
One more thing.
Yes.
Nobara deserved better.
What did you say?
Nobara deserved better.
Nobara did deserve better. You're right. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah. So guys, I was saying, Juju is a frequent flyer on our anime night. So if you are a Discord, if you're on our Discord and you support us on Patreon, even at just the $1 tier, you have access to what we call Anime Watch Club Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we just watch seasonal anime. We watch the latest. We get a list comprised of some of the more popular stuff, some sleeper hits, and we try to like diversify the palette. We try to sneak a shoujo or a mystery in there, something you wouldn't typically watch, something more laid back. And it's a great mix. It's a great little small curated list. We get about 5 or 6 anime a season that we settle on. It's a lot of fun. We riff, and we just enjoy ourselves. It's just a nice little chill hangout. So if you're ever available for that and you're a supporter, please take advantage of that. If you're paying for a Patreon and you're not showing up for that, if you have the time to, please take advantage of that. It's very fun. I'm going to bring Rainbow Juice in now. He's been sitting here for a while. Hello, Rainbow.
Hi.
Yo, what's up, my man?
Hello. I'm that one guy who made that one page in that one video.
It was great, my dude. I gassed you up enough, but I gotta keep saying it, man. It was great. You should be very proud of yourself. Everyone at that project should be so proud.
Thanks. I'm trying to make a remake right now, actually.
You gonna remaster it? That's okay. Go ahead and remaster. Just know that when you do a remaster should always be a conversation with your previous work. Never erase the original. Okay? Because that's what I'm gonna be doing in the future with My Hero Bridge. I got a few remasters coming up, and they're gonna have a conversation with the original. The originals will never go away, because you should be proud of the original work. All right. But it'd be cool to see how much you've improved, though. It should be a marker of improvement. But don't erase the past. That's how you got here to the present. But how did you feel presently today about the finale of My Hero Academia?
It's kind of weird, knowing it's been a decade since the original chapters.
It's crazy.
So it makes me feel old.
You feel. I was old when the series debuted. I'm older now.
Considering it also came out the year FNAF was also made, and I just feel old, you know.
Oh my gosh! Honestly, My Hero Academia came out where like the foundation of modern internet culture started. Honestly, like FNAF, all that internet creepypasta. You are correct. It is the end of an era we're experiencing right now. We all feel, and everyone's gonna experience it. I brought that up before. That part of the reason why people feel unsettled or feel underwhelmed or feel kind of icky, that's actually a very intentional feeling. You're supposed to empathize with Deku in that moment. You're supposed to feel old, as he does. You're supposed to feel that the monotony of everyday adult life and go, damn, I had it going when I was a kid. I should have appreciated that more. You should feel that pain. It's called nostalgia. It's a Latin term that means the pain of the past, the pain of a memory. It should feel painful, and I think that part of the negative responses people have to this chapter is they felt that pain, but they never digested that pain. They sometimes pain feels bad, but sometimes there is good pain. Nostalgic pain can feel good. It makes you really feel makes you feel those good memories from before. But was there any other feelings that you had on this chapter?
It made me feel like I'm curious what Horikoshi has next for his life. I'm not sure if he'll make another manga.
It seems to be implied that he will. They said look forward to his next work. I hope he takes a break. I hope his next venture is a long rest.
It's fascinating how MHA is his only manga that actually got this far. He had others that didn't actually work. Or
he wasn't a one-shot success like Oda and like a lot of guys, like the old school guys. Like this guy, trial and error. He put his work out there. He failed and then he improved. Sounds like someone I know I'm talking to right now.
I don't even know what else to say.
If there's nothing else to say, that's okay. But I just want to greatly appreciate your participation in OHA. I hope this video does well and we see you again in the future, man. It was great to have you involved.
If.
Uh-oh, he cut out. Oh.
Sorry, I was talking to someone.
Oh, no worries.
If I get the chance to do another project like this, I would.
We'll look forward to see ya. I'm gonna let you go now. Thanks for talking with me here, and you have a nice evening, dude.
You too.
Okay, I've got Daisy Atake here in the chat. I'm gonna bring them in. They are muted right now, so we'll see if they're really available. Shannara, you here? Oops, peaced out. Maybe he wasn't ready. If you come back in, I'll get you, okay? I'm gonna bring in Mr. Host.
Oh,
hello! JJK's
howdy.
greatest champion. How are we feeling about My Hero Academia?
Okay, I told you I was a little underwhelmed with.
You should know,
this
but it's okay to feel underwhelmed. That's a feature, not a bug of Shonen Jump.
There are things I like about this epilogue. I love boring shit, so I would have loved if this was like a 20-chapter epilogue if he just really took his fucking time with everything, because I like that shit. But
there's never enough time, is there? He had a limit time.
Yeah.
Well, leave him wanting more, not begging for it to end. You know. Because as much as I talk about how much I think Vigilantes is the superior My Hero story, I was kind of begging it for it to end for quite a while. It kind of overstayed its welcome. Kind of, it really did.
Hearing you guys talk about it did sound like he was fighting that last dude for like a year, right?
Yeah. That was not even an exaggeration. That final fight was over a year. Imagine if Deku, that final rush that the whole group had at Shigaraki, was prolonged for a year. That's what happened. That was the final phase of an overreaching fight. There was a fight going on before that. So, yes, long-reaching.
I mean, technically I have no... I can't really talk. I've been reading JJK. That fight's been lasting like over a year at this point. But I can defend it, because I read.
It's okay. Obviously you were the one who messaged me and brought to my attention how freaking base JJK got this week. So I already know your feeling on that. You're feeling good.
Oh, absolutely. Because I saw this shit coming a mile away. There are people, that Shonen battle power scalers like, oh, I love that he's just so determined to murder this guy. I'm like, dude, his mentality is fucking unhealthy. People tell him in the story that this is not the way to live. And he finally got over it. And I knew this was going to happen before they resolved this shit. And it was fucking beautiful. Oh my God. And Gege Akutami, I love how much he loves animators and the medium, because I can tell he's an animation nerd. He was inspired so much by the adaptation of his own show, because the angles of these buildings, he's like, it's drawn like a Gasso directed episode. I'm like, this is fucking beautiful. This conversation is so goddamn good. It's like it literally like spitting in the face of nihilism, and that it would shock people who don't really read this series. Like, what? JJK is spitting in the face of nihilism? I thought everyone just fucking died in that.
That's something that me and Val brought up on the podcast about My Hero Academia's ending. That it's also an anti-nihilism thing. The fact that people were so mad that there wasn't more of the villains at the end. I know this is rough to hear, guys. It sucks. But by that point in the series, those guys are the past. A lot of those guys, Shigaraki specifically, he was the manifestation of nihilism. If Shigaraki had anything that was inherently his own, it was the nihilism. All for One wanted to control the world. Shiggy wanted to destroy everything. He wanted nothing to exist ever again. Because bad things happened. That's nihilism, and that's in the past. Deku gets that brief look at Shigaraki and then moves forward to look at the future with his buddies. That is an anti-nihilism statement right there in the final pages. Love to see that. That's another thing I loved about this chapter. I do have to keep things moving because we're getting towards the end here. Any other thoughts about My Hero's ending here? Quick ones.
My Hero? I mean, like, look, even though I have my complaints and shit, this series really did mean a fucking shit ton to me. Like, I forgot, how young was I when I first, picked up that first
You had to been young, like a lot of people.
Really? Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe it's over.
Some of the mangakas comments said that they were in high school reading this, and then they became Jump writers, dude. What the hell?
The Kagurabachi's author. He's 23. That's still crazy to me. That man. Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy it ended this way. Even with its flaws and shit. 7 out of 10. That's still a good rating. Don't get insulted by that, other people. It's great. Yeah.
I gotta let you go, host. Thank you so much for talking to us. I'm gonna bring in Daisy. Daisy's gonna be my last caller, and I'm gonna wrap for the evening because I see the viewership kind of waning. Everyone's getting tired. I know I was tired before I even started the stream. So we're gonna do one last viewer call, and then we're gonna call it a night here. All right, Daisy, you ready for us?
Hello.
Hello. How you going?
Going okay. How are you?
Doing good. So, what did you think about this finale, this final chapter, if you read it?
I quite liked it. The only problem is we didn't get to see Class 1B, which really disappointed me, which it's what I'm hoping for the fan books when they eventually come out.
That's a good call. They were discussed. They were spoken about. So the guy who's got like the cement grater face, and not cement toss, but the Class B student who shoots glue out of his mouth during joint training, he was there during Shoji's medal ceremony for Mutant Relations piece. Val and I discussed how it's kind of weird that the guy's clearly a mutant, but he was never really involved in the story about mutant relations. So, I mean, it's good that he was involved, but it didn't quite feel right that he was there, but he was involved. And then they also mentioned that Manama and the guy who touches things and they get softer and like goopy, the quicksand guy, they're mentioned as top contenders for top ranked heroes. Like, they discuss how Miro's the #1 and they talk about Bakugo's rankings. They do bring up, yeah, I do agree, it is disappointing that we don't get more of them on camera, but we did get Manama's statue at UA. At least that's something. I thought that was pretty fun. What'd you think about that? That was the previous chapter?
I was hoping for a different character, to be honest. I like Monoma, but
Who's specifically in Class B? Who's your favorite?
it's probably Monoma. But I would like Shinzo or somebody to be like.
You're right. Considering, I mean, Shindo ended up being Class 1A at the end, but considering all that hype, I told Val, he's kind of just a popularity poll character. He's kind of a fill-in at the end of the day. Like, he had his moment with Gigantamakia, and then he kind of he was gone for quite a while between that and the joint training arc, and then the finale, and in these epilogues, he was just kind of walking around the school, and you do see him there in that big final splash page with the 1A students. He's there on the very top, I think the very, like, top center. He's got Aizawa's bandages, so, like, we see him, but yeah, there was nothing that he purposefully did at the end. Like, he never really seemed to have any material, and that's a shame, considering how much you loved him. The fans clearly loved him. Aizawa clearly liked him, too, and it's like, yeah, Monoma got a statue. Shouldn't Shindo have gotten something? Shinso should have got something, considering he tamed Makia-ish at the end.
There is something I have to laugh about.
Yeah.
Shinzo and Eri in particular. Both of them got really long hair at the end, but Aizawa cut his hair, which kind of made me laugh a little bit because it's like not all of them could have long hair. And then I started joking that Mike's gone completely bald.
Did you see that meme? You know that meme where it's like when they take the breast reduction surgery and like, wait, what happened to so-and-so? Where do you think you got the breast from? They did that with Shinso's hair. They said, your long hair transplant was a success, Shinso. It goes, where's Aizawa? Whose hair do you think we used? Which is
no,
great.
I haven't seen that
It's
yet.
funny as shit. But yeah, he kind of became the new Aizawa, even though Manamo was kind of doing the Aizawa thing at the final battle. But yeah, I agree that 1B didn't quite get much material. They never really had the material is the thing, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed considering Manama got a statue. It's like, what were these other guys doing? They were kind of shoehorned. Alex says, Pony should have apologized to Shoji. I discussed this on the podcast. I think Pony should have been there at the medal ceremony, not the glue guy. I feel like if anyone was relevant to mutant microaggressions, it was Pony's moment where she brings up, ew, octopus make me feel uncomfortable. She didn't do that on purpose, but clearly this was like a microaggression. It was a little accidental mutant bigotry that was just kind of part of the world building. They're like, oh yeah, people talk about mutants that way, and that's like not okay. And I feel like that would have been a great moment if she kind of like, again, they're going to have a dialogue moment, but the fact that she could have been there, like we could have seen that, hey, her and Shoji did have an understanding and started working together to improve mutant relations. She should have been there versus the glue guy. But besides that, were there any other thoughts or desires about the end?
Not that I can think of. I hope there's a continuation sometime, and I have ideas for it in my head, like it just being called My Hero and not with the academia bit.
That would, that's an interesting take.
I might write a story about it.
Because everyone's like, oh, I'll call it My Hero Agency, and you're like, yeah, just My Hero, just the front. I don't know how well that does for SEO, because all these companies and editors and producers, they all got to be SEO pill. They all have to be these very defined, long, search-friendly names. But I like that pitch. I'll bring that up to Horikoshi if I ever see him. But thank you so much for your feedback here, Daisy. Thank you for participating in OHA. I know you were part of it too. Great job. Glad to have you involved. Thank you for joining the discussion here. You have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
With that, guys, I'm going to wrap it here. I already had my big cringy speech at the end. I'm exhausted. I got to wrap here for the evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, this was more of an overall arcing feelings and kind of punching, throwing a couple punches at the overall discussion in the audience, and also bringing you guys in to talk, because you guys are a big part of this too. So that's what tonight was about. But if you want a detailed, panel by panel, every piece of dialogue analysis, please join us for Joycast on Monday, August 5th at 11 a.m. We're on all your favorite we're on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and we're always in the community tab on YouTube. And on our Twitter, we always have an announcement that has the links to each episode. And this is it's 2 hours, baby. We do go off track towards the end and talk about other things, but we always bring it back to My Hero, and specifically that last chapter, and a very detailed analysis. And at that point, the official English will be out, so you can actually properly look along with us. Until then, guys, until the next stream, or whichever project I see you on next, whatever time you see me talking in person, maybe it's at Anime Night, maybe it's another stream, maybe it's another announcement of another project, maybe it's through the comment section of Dark Deku Abridged. Looking forward to talking to you. Thank you for your support, thank you for your viewership, thank you for being a part of this great experience, this holistic experience that was My Hero Academia, and will continue to be, I'm very confident, of My Hero Academia. My hero, as Daisy would say. It lives on. It lives on in some way or another, I guarantee. We just don't know what yet. Until then, guys, take care. Thank you for keeping JoyRide's engine burning.